Hello again, nerds. This is another reaction video. So we talked about this song in the most recent Week in Nerddom. This is Umbra Vitae, the new metal band from Jacob Bannon, the lead vocalist from Converge. There's other guys in here like I believe the drummers from Job For A Cowboy, and then some of the other musicians are from the band Red Chord, and uh, just some really heavy hitters in here. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's do an intro real quick. Okay, so expectations. This is just the song, so I can't no video expectations. But um, we know that Jacob Bannon, so Converge, Red Chord, and Job For A Cowboy all Converge, not technically a metal band. Converge, I forget how exactly, because all those subgenre, all the nonsense that's associated with those subgenres, I really don't waste too much time remembering all of the rules for your grindcore or your death grind or whatever. So sometimes I have to remind myself. Wikipedia has them listed as a hardcore punk band. That's not. I don't think that's accurate at all. Mathcore, maybe. I can't remember. Again, all of the silly subgenre nonsense just really disinterests me, so I don't really waste too much time with it. Anyway, back to expectations. Because Converge is so aggressive and pretty technical, and Red Chord was similar, and Job For A Cowboy also similar. I'm expecting something along those lines, though Bannon was pretty clear when he was differentiating between this band and Converge. He said Converge is not metal enough for him. So I would imagine we're going to get a little bit more of a traditional metal sound, i.e., some pretty straightforward arrangements and crushing chugs and so on and so forth. So that's kind of where my headset is before we get into this. Now let's go get into this. So we're doing it straight from Death Wish Inc. That's the record label. Blasty blasties. All right. So first thing, right off the bat, production-wise, I have kind of higher expectations for production with something that Bannon is associated with. This is pretty muddy so far. I mean, there is some definition on the high end, and not the high end from the drums, which is good. So there you can hear what the guitar's doing. You're just losing a lot of the mid-tones from the drums and definitely the bass in this mix. There you go. All right. Bass is coming out a little bit the more I am into it. So, all right. The bass, and this is again a genre issue. There are few bands in the genre of metal that you can really pick out anything other than a rumble from the bass. There's not a whole lot of tone that you're getting from the bass, and that's what's going on here. You can hear the bottom end pretty well. I mean, I am going through speakers, but you should be able to hear everything no matter what you're listening to if you have someone worth their salt that's doing the mix. So my speakers being fairly good, not the greatest speakers in the world. I mean, I'm picking up the low end for sure, but not a whole lot of like character from the bass. And I just let's go back a little bit. And right there, the guitar's doing a different piece, and it's folded too deep into the mix. Like I said, we just have some mud issues going on right now. But very, very blasty with that kick and snare and hi-hat. And strangely groovy, even though we do have a crap ton of blast going on. So also, let's speaking of Jacob Bannon, the vocalist for this project as well as Converge, getting a little experimental here with his vocal range, because in Converge, he's oftentimes at the top of his scream. It's more of a head voice kind of scream, not a whole lot of chest voice. This sounds like it's mostly chest for him. His register is just going to be higher, so there's definitely a screechy element to the sound of his voice, regardless of what timbre he's in, but this is definitely more chest voice, it sounds like, so that's pretty cool. Wow, all right. Good little bridge section there. Still, this is probably the best example of the muddiness as far as the bass is concerned. The guitar is pretty well defined in this little section, but the bass, all you're getting is that rumble on the bottom. Nice. And surprisingly also for Jacob Bannon, the vocals are a little more discernible. I still am not getting a whole lot of the lyrical content, but I'm getting more than I do when I first hear a new Converge song. So, oh, and a solo section. Also not something you expect from a Converge record, but something you do expect from a metal record. Though bucking the trend of the crazy sweeping arpeggios and everything, so rock and roll there. Not that I don't like the sweeping arpeggios, but everybody does them right now, so it's kind of... And then back into the blast. So here again, this is, I would produce this differently. I would have done things a little bit differently. I feel like there's the sonic landscape that you paint when you are doing audio production. You want to, like, if somebody's listening to it with their headphones or in speakers, whatever, you want to try and make it sound as much as possible like the listener is in the room with the musicians. So there's a number of ways to do that. Part of that has to do with how things are panned. Because of the listening setup I have, I cannot make any comments towards the panning of this. But the other way, the other main way that you can do that is by resting each instrument in a different set of frequencies, effectively. So the bass would take up mostly the bottom end and have a little bit in the middle, and then that's where the guitar would meet with the bass, and then the guitar would be a little bit in the middle, and then mostly towards the mid-high to high end, and then the drums kind of fill in those gaps. So the drums are all the way at the bottom, they're also all the way on the top, and they're kind of sprinkled in between. Kick drum would be closer to the bass, snare drum would be closer to the guitar, so on and so forth. So if you can find the frequencies that they that they shine at, effectively, for lack of a better term, then you accent those frequencies in the mix, and then you can keep them separate enough that you can hear the defining sound that they're trying to make, the tone, whatever it is. And then everything sounds a little more clear, and it sounds like you are sitting next to the band while they play. So that's kind of a basic, really super simple way of breaking down sonic space. And this sonic space in this section that we've gone through a number of minor variations of this. I'm going to call it the verse section, and this one is probably the most defined, but still has a lot of mud to deal with. So we're going to go back just a little bit. But listen to the guitar. All right. It's the signature of that guitar is overlapping too much with some of the drum and way too much with the vocal. So you're not the producer, I feel like, could have boosted certain other frequencies so that we would be able to get that guitar lick, because it seems as important to the song as the drum part. And the drum part is very defined. The drum part you can hear expertly, but the guitar is kind of falling behind those drums, right? Is kind of... I like the chunk. Nice. The groove here. All right. So, as critical as I was, that's not to say that I don't like the song, because I really liked that. I guess I should have expected something blasty like that. When Bannon was saying that Converge wasn't metal enough for him, I was like, but you have all of the greatness of metal, all of the aggression, and then you have a lot more with the dynamic elements of things, and you have a lot more with the crazy time signatures, and it's like metal jazz. I know that's not what it is, but like in a way it's got that kind of spirit to it, where we're just gonna go and do what feels right, and time signatures be damned. This is all very hard 4/4 blast beats, so we're doing like 30-second notes on the kick and the snare. I think part of the guitar tone issue is I went too far. Part of the guitar tone issue is the distortion. Nope, it's also the hi-hat. The hi-hat is drowning out a lot of that guitar tone as well. Because they're sitting in the same sonic area. Now, I'm all for mixing so that you have to listen to hear everything. Totally understand that mindset. This one, though, like, the more I listen to it, the more I'm hearing things. But because I've gone over it a few times at this point, like, now I can pick out what the guitar is doing. But it just is not is not as well produced as I wanted it to be, being as it's attached to a couple of bands that I really respect. Yeah, it's the cymbals. The cymbals are what's doing the most damage. Cymbals from the drums are overpowering the guitar. That's exactly what it is. Yep. All right, I pinpointed it. That's what's driving me crazy about this. It's still great. Again, the more I listen to it, the more I can hear the parts. So the more, which is always, even in a situation like this, is still a good thing because it makes you want to listen more to hear all of the different things that are going on. I still think the bass could have more character. I still think the highs on the drums, even though I said at the beginning they're not horrible, they're not overly mixed as far as like the EQ settings. They are just too present in the overall mix of the song, and that is what's killing the guitar tone. It's drowning out your guitar tone, and it's making it more difficult than it needs to be to hear properly. But otherwise, I dig it. Like it's like the arrangement is really interesting because we do get a little bit of the ABC kind of stuff, and then we throw in two separate bridge sections along with a quasi solo, and it's only 2.5 minutes long. So all of these things happen in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. So it's got a lot going for it. I just am not a huge fan of that mix. But yeah, there we go. That's where we're sitting on the new Umbra Vitae project, again from Jacob Bannon, who is the vocalist for Converge. A couple of dudes from Red Chord. I'm gonna actually pull up the pushing buttons that I don't need to be pushing. Here we go. The website. So let's see if they have a little blurb. May 1st is when the record is releasing. So Shadow of Life is the record. And it is recorded and mixed by Kurt Ballou, who is the guy who does all of the Converge stuff. So that has me slightly concerned. He's an amazing producer. So I don't understand why I was having those sonic issues. It might be my listening setup, but I really don't think so because I listen to plenty of music on this setup that doesn't sound like that. It's not going to tell me. Let's go to this page. This is. I'm definitely going to be checking out this record when it comes out. We might talk about it a little bit more. We might just listen to the whole thing. I don't know. I'm trying to fill space while I find this record. Let's go to the search. Converge. So the guys in this band are obviously Jacob Bannon, Sean Martin, who plays for Twitching Tongues and used to play for Hatebreed, Mike McKenzie, who is from the Red Chord and Stomach Earth, never heard of Stomach Earth, and then Greg Weeks on bass, who is also from the Red Chord, and John Rice playing drums, who used to play for Job For A Cowboy and still plays apparently for Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, which is kind of a great band name. So yeah, Jacob Bannon on vocals, Mike McKenzie and Sean Martin on guitar, Greg Weeks on bass, and John Rice on drums. There's some heavy hitting there, and musically I totally can see all of those things, but as far as that production, I'm really kind of shocked that was mixed by Kurt Ballou, because again, he's such a great. Anyway, I'm rambling. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. What did you think of the song? If you need to, all right. So let's also put this here. If you want to listen to the actual song, if you want to hear the song without my voice, then go listen to the song, not this video, because I don't do reaction videos so that you can listen to the whole song all at once. Yeah, we go through the whole song eventually throughout the course of the reaction video, but I had somebody leave me a comment the other day saying that you're talking over the music. I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's kind of the gist of it. And that's kind of the point of a reaction video, especially when I'm analyzing the music involved. Like, we're not here to just listen to the song together. We're here to discuss the elements of the song. Sure, you should be able to hear those things, and hopefully I mixed this video a little bit differently, but anyway, again, I'm rambling. Thank you guys for watching. What did you think about it? Do you like the tune? Are you interested to listen to the rest of the record? It is going to be a 10-song album, again, out May 1st. Hopefully we will all be off of quarantine by then. There's plenty of other things going on here on the channel. You can click or tap one of these two boxes here. If you have not yet, there is the subscribe button right there. You can subscribe, check out all the other stuff that's going on, ring the bell so that you get the notifications when I do post other things. Go to the website if you want to see even more other things, generallynerdy.net, or the Patreon if you want to help these things keep coming, patreon.com/generallynerdy. Thank you guys one more time. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.